If you take a look at social media, especially on Twitter, and you see the angry mob mentality, I can almost guarantee you that who's yelling at you through that screen is their microbiome. It's not even their intellect. It's their microbiome. It's their diet. It's their posture. It's their breathing patterns. And these are the core ones that I'll stop on, just so I don't go off into infinity with it, because again, there's this issue with isolating it too much and saying, like, oh well, it's just this or it's just this. But I mean, if you think about it, as you just said, you pick a fruit off a tree, within a day 50% of its nutrients are gone, maybe more. And so what do? We pick them when they're not even ripe. So as they're shipping across the country, they start to ripen in the truck. And so we introduce a lot of these things. We implement these things in between stages, where like evolution prepared us to be able to just pick something off of a tree and eat it. And that's us closest to nature. And then so we can see that orange and say, oh, that looks just as fresh as if I were to have picked it off the tree. We have to introduce these new things that cause for a variation in how the nutrients actually make it to us, so our microbiome can actually be the healthiest that it is. So diet, I would say, is number one, because when I notice that I'm getting really stressed, or if I'm getting triggered by something that I kind of scratch my head, like, why is this making me so upset? Usually what I do, there's three things that I do. I take a look at, how has my diet been recently? Because as much as I eat very, very healthy, there are times where all the healthy food is in my refrigerator, but I'm only grabbing the quick, easy things for convenience. And that means I'm psychologically not sitting down and taking time with my food, which is a part of your diet as well. A lot of people think it's just the mechanics of getting the right nutrients into the body. That's a big part of it, but your psyche is almost doing a magic trick. You are either stressed and watching TV, or on the way to work and in traffic while you're shoving your face full of this high sugar, high fat foods. And to think that that's not going to have some kind of effect is not really looking at the core of what diet is. Diet is also the time that you spend with the food, the state that the feeling state that you're in. So I would say the best thing is, number one, look at your diet and look at how you are treating the time where you're actually ingesting that food. And then posture. Take a look at the fact that most of us are sitting for, what is the last average? Somewhere around 7, 8, some all the way up to 12 hours a day. And walking has just become this thing where, like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom, or I got to get from this chair to that chair. I got to get from this sitting position into my car, into that sitting position, so I can go to work and sit in that sitting position for the rest of the day. And posture, I don't know if you know this, Amy Cuddy did a TED Talk where 2 minutes of arms above head, just 2 minutes of it, raises your testosterone significantly and lowers your cortisol, the stress hormone, significantly. So if you can hack your hormones body wide by doing this for 2 minutes, imagine what sitting in front of a computer for 12 hours a day is doing to you hormonally. And a lot of people's gait cycle is kind of messed up. You go for a walk, you get outside and you go for a walk. There's this group out of LA called the Human Garage, and they talk about how fascia torques itself through the body. And fascia is a very intelligent organ. It's made of collagen, ground substance, elastin, and water. And water holds memory. And in many ways, that's the flow of emotions through the body. And there are many points. And I believe the acupressure and acupuncture meridian chart is, some say, anywhere from like 75 to 95% accurate to the fascial trains that run through the body. And the Human Garage says that we are torqued in a certain direction, whereas people in the northern hemisphere, they have a tight spot in their left hand right here. And in the southern hemisphere, it's in their right hand. It could be like flushing the toilets. There's that torsion field. Whatever it might be, they say that walking helps you untorque it, but you have to do that for 6 to 8 hours, or I'm sorry, 6 to 8 miles a day. Not many people are actually doing that. So when you think of if that's how much walking it takes, and our ancestors did that, they moved anywhere from 12 to 16 miles a day just to look for food. And then when they found food, you know what they did? They squatted, and they would squat for about an hour, enjoying the food, talking, having community time. So that's another thing that we're a little bit devoid of now. So it's your microbiome due to your diet. It's your posture, changing your hormonal, your neurotransmitter and hormonal ratios. And then the next thing is breath. A lot of us, if you're anxious, you're at the top of your breath, where your lungs are almost always filled. They're just only exhaling a little and inhaling a little. I was just on Timcast IRL. The co-host or the other guest was Laura Southern, and she was saying that's what she thought something was seriously wrong with her, and the doctor was like, "You're just not really exhaling." Think about that. Think about that. And this is a really smart individual. This is how not in tune we are with the most natural things like diet, posture, and breath. So she's experiencing anxiety because she's at the top of her breath. And now imagine if you're all the way at the bottom of your breath and you're not really fully getting that big inhale, that's where depression starts to lie. So we feed into these things. And again, like I was saying in the first question, we're looking for all the external factors, like who's doing this to me? Is this Biden's fault? Was this Trump's fault? Is it just capitalism in general? Like, is it because I'm a this or I'm a that? Or, maybe it's astrology. And I'm not dogging any of those things. What I am saying is we forget the simple things and we look for the more complex things that you might see, the latest article, right? The latest article says that there's this one protein and it's responsible for all this other stuff. And it's like, oh my God, maybe that is the root of all my problems. When it's like, when was the last time you really checked in with your breath? How's your diet doing? And how long are you sitting in that sitting posture, especially hyperkyphosis, where your back rounds itself out, your shoulders pitch in, it's crunching down your chest, it's pushing your ribs, which aren't expanding with the breath, down into your organs. So your diaphragm isn't moving correctly, and your breath is supposed to move into your organs below the diaphragm to massage them. This is the natural way. And if you were walking upright more often during the day, you'd probably have that posture a little bit better. So we need to get back to the simple things. And I'm not saying we can't look at the complex stuff.